All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking about real music in real time for real people just like you and just like me. So, Jeff Skunk Baxter, who is probably one of the best guitar players who's still alive today, a guy who I want to say is unheralded, but you say, he's not underrated. He's just unheralded. And the reason he's unheralded is because he's not a brand unto himself, although the term skunk is really to describe what he looks like even today, with the hair and the beard, and now you got the salt and pepper thing going on. Back in the early days he was kind of a brown skunk. Now he's a more authentic skunk. And man, reeling in the years alone as far as guitar work and guitar soloing, and also Ricky Don't Lose That Number a few years ago, and so many others. I'm just mentioning those two. I mean, he was one of the guys who really defined the Steely Dan sound, and he's a deep critical thinker. Anyway, a few years ago, he went to that NAMM thing and recorded a live version with Nathan East and his producer, CJ Vanston, along with singer Kip Lennon. And Kip Lennon, I had him on the show a long time ago. I'll have to find that interview and reboot it and repost it, because the guy is so much like Donald Fagen that it's scary, even though he looks like Jackson Browne. In the video, he was dressed with this black vest and this red shirt underneath, and everybody was like, hey, Jackson Browne is now singing for Steely Dan. This is weird, or at least singing the Donald Fagen parts. But holy crap, Batman, that video is now over 5.3 million views. And if you want to go watch it, it's the 2016, I think, NAMM conference, whatever they call it out there. And they do Ricky Don't Lose That Number. They have this sort of quiet intro to the song. And then once they kick into gear, and the expressions on Nathan East's face as they play this. And then at the end of it, Skunk says, thank God for real singers, after they finish, because Kip Lennon nailed it. Again, if Kip Lennon wanted to take over the Steely Dan franchise, and with Fagen's blessing, obviously, he would be the guy to help do that. And maybe you bring Skunk back in, right? I don't think Skunk wants to do the hardcore touring. Needless to say, the Doobie Brothers didn't invite Skunk back in. If you recall, Jeff wanted to be very creative while he was with the Doobie Brothers, and he used to get into arguments with Michael McDonald because he wanted to do all kinds of crazy guitar innovations on these songs. And Michael, I think, was bothered by that. He had written these fairly simple arrangements, and Skunk wanted to skunk them up. Needless to say, Michael was king at that point, and Skunk left the building, which is kind of sad, because he was great with the Doobies. He was great with Steely Dan. He's been great pretty much on everything he's worked on. And to make it even more interesting, Skunk is pretty smart. In fact, he's a guy who the U.S. Department of Defense has definitely consulted with, doing work on the Pentagon's Missile Defense Agency. He wrote a 5-page paper suggesting that the military's ship-based Aegis anti-aircraft system could be converted into a missile defense solution. He took the paper to 2 congressmen who turned it in to the U.S. Department of Defense, and they were just blown away by this. And he became a consultant for the Pentagon, Jeff Skunk Baxter. So, most of us, we have one job and we think we're pretty good, or we're pretty smart at one thing, to fall back on, hey, I'm just consulting the military on their missile defense program. I also play on Reelin' in the Years. I mean, this guy is such a great musician. And he's collaborated with a very unlikely character to create one of the better songs I've heard this year thus far, the rock media not giving it all that much attention. The tune is called Bad Move, and you've got, of course, the aforementioned Skunk and country legend Clint Black on vocals. I think this is just a great thing. I've always loved Clint Black. I mean, he is one of those guys who was solely responsible for the country music revival of the 1990s because of his own creativity, great songwriting, great melodies. So the article that I found here says Clint Black reveals his mastery of musical eclecticism with his powerful and compelling vocal performance on Bad Move, which also includes an incendiary lead guitar and organ duke out between Jeff Skunk Baxter and his musical partner and Speed of Heat producer, C.J. Vanston. Vanston, by the way, was also there at the awards, the NAMM Awards that I spoke of. I think he was playing keyboards live on stage. So those two are really great collaborators, and CJ produced the new Skunk album. So I bet you it's going to be fantastic. Clint really outdid himself on this song, says Baxter. I played it for his wife. By the way, his wife is still Lisa Hartman Black, which is really cool. They've been married for a long time. And when she heard it, she jokingly asked me, "Who is that?" I said, "That's your husband." He is a really amazing and multifaceted musician, which is awesome. Like I said, I've appreciated the work of Clint Black, and he's been largely ignored, of course, because he's aged out of the country music system. And even if he were younger, his music does not fit a format that is now all about click tracks and R&B sounding stuff, which doesn't really sound like country music at all. I mean, I'm not critical of the R&B element. I'm just saying country is supposed to sound like country. That's all. I mean, if that stuff was going over to the R&B charts or whatever, I would think to myself, hey, that's pretty cool. And they put a, gratuitous banjo way in the background, mixed really low so you can barely hear it. But hey, this is what makes it country. No, Clint Black was an innovator. And along with Jeff Skunk Baxter, this is going to be something special. Writing with him and CJ was as good as it gets, sitting 2 feet from Skunk while he cut those amazing guitar parts. And this is Clint Black talking. Him coaching me through my parts. He says, that was a singular experience. I love humility. It's not like, hey, don't tell me what to do. When Skunk says do it, you do it, all right? Except if you're Michael McDonald, then you basically tell management and then they kick Skunk out of the band. I was hoping to step out of my genre with Bad Move, and we definitely did that. Definitely a good move. For music fans of all stripes, and particularly those who have followed Baxter's remarkable career through the years and have hoped for the guitarist to record a solo project, Speed of Heat will prove well worth the wait. The 12-song disc is a riveting and rewarding musical experience that features a host of brilliantly crafted originals co-written by the guitarist and his producing music partner, C.J. Vanston, as well as inspired versions of some great classics. Now, along the way, this is interesting, Baxter is joined by guest vocalists and songwriters such as Michael McDonald. So maybe that rift has been repaired, along with Clint Black, Johnny Lang, and Rick Livingstone, each of whom adds their own unique and remarkable music talents to the project's brilliant sonic mosaic. So there you have it, folks. Something to look forward to this year if you're a classic rock fan, maybe if you're an old school country fan, but this is really just a mashup of different genres and styles. And quite frankly, it's just refreshing to hear these two old-time musicians getting together, Skunk and Clint. I mean, it just doesn't get any more eclectic than that. And the album will be coming out soon, and I would definitely pre-order a copy of it if you can. All right, that's my video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I need patrons over on Patreon for just $1 a month. I'm doing my part here, trying to spread the news about music that you're not going to hear about when you're cruising down the road listening to your favorite radio station, when they talk about what's going on in the community this weekend, or, you know, the community calendar, or the Rotary Club is having a barbecue, and you're just like, yeah, what did we just hear on the radio? Isn't there anything you guys can talk about other than, you know, celebrity gossip, or I don't know, how to stay healthy, which I don't think they do a very good job at that other one. Of course, John Tesh has a whole show, syndicated show about that, which I think is a little bit ridiculous. I think I'd rather get my health information from a qualified professional who's not, you know, being financed by Big Pharma. Anyway, I'm really bad at tangents, or good at tangents, depending on how you look at it. All right, people, see you soon.